Is your child an eloper? When you're out and about, are they running here and there to and from, whether it be to the toy aisle in the store or to water like lakes, ponds, pools? Are they just running for the thrill of it? That's called elopement. Today, we're going to talk about ways to address elopement and completely decrease it over time. For those of you who don't know me, hello, my name is Melissa. I'm a board certified behavior analyst, and I specialize in helping families go from survival mode to true happiness. I am trained in crisis management. I do teach and train professionals at the collegiate level. I serve as a voluntary subject matter expert for the board, and I have had the pleasure of helping hundreds of families go and break through boundaries that they never thought that they could. So today we're going to talk about how to address elopement, okay? So I'm thinking about a child that they just can't help themselves, right? They might even elope from your house sometimes. You have locks all the way at the top. You have 3 or 4 different locks on a door, maybe even barricaded. I mean, this is real, right? This is your life, and you're just trying to protect your child, and they just try to get out. They might even climb out of a window. I've had many of clients in these kind of predicaments, and I completely understand the stress that it puts families under. And so to be able to address this behavior properly, you've got to do it systematically. I'm going to go through those steps, but what you have to do is put yourself and your child in these situations to practice. If you just avoid, nothing's going to change. And the older they get, the harder it's going to be to contain them. I'm going to give you a story, a true story. I had a client years ago who was 17 years old. He was a quick kid. Honestly, if he didn't have a developmental disability, he probably would have been on the cross-country team running track for his high school. He ran so fast. And the function of the behavior was access. He just wanted to explore new places, open doors, see what's behind them. Any new place he went to, he would try to go to every door, every aisle, okay? Mom was maybe like 5'3", very sweet woman, and did her best, but it was all on her. And he had a really rough time. He was very strong, he was a teenage boy, much taller than her as well. So he was on a leash, basically. He had a harness, and then there was a leash in the back, and so he would walk in the front, and Mom would be walking in the back, trying to kind of pull on him. And I came in, and over the course of maybe less than a year for sure, but more than 6 months, we were able to go into stores without him having to wear this harness. It was so amazing, so amazing. The mom was so grateful, and that was only in 9 months of work right? So, but the thing is, we practiced almost every day, okay? Including Mom practicing when we were not present, all right? There were a lot of factors that went into this, and I'm going to go over with some ideas and different interventions for you today, okay? So, in order to address elopement out in the community, first, you're going to set yourself up for success. You're going to think about all the situations in which the behaviors occur, right? You're going to think about what your child is trying to get to. Where are they going? What do they want, okay? Because that could be a really important ticket to having a reinforcer in place, right? A reward. We've got to be able to reward the progress and the little baby steps that your child makes independently, so that over time they learn to follow the bigger picture of, hey, let's not run away. This is dangerous, okay? You're going to set clear expectations with your child. So you're gonna already have in mind what situations these things happen in, okay? You're going to be very, very clear and using a small amount of words, repetitive phrases, okay? Sometimes we write these in like a social story. Sometimes we just write them on a piece of paper. Sometimes we audio record and then replay it back. It's all about repetition, guys. That's exactly what all of this is about. Repetition, repetition, repetition. So you're going to set clear rules, and you're going to say them often to your child. Maybe outside of the situation, like let's say in the car when you're driving to a location, but also right before going into a location that they will probably elope. And so you're going to set these clear rules, right? You're going to say, you're going to look them in the eye and you're going to say something along the lines of this. You are going to stay next to me the whole time. We're going to be safe. You're going to stay next to me the whole time. Okay, we're going to use our big kid words, our big girl, big boy words. We're going to use our words to communicate when we want something. Okay, and then you will earn reinforcer reward. Please make it something that's quick and easy to give. It could be blowing bubbles. It could be a little sweet treat. It could be a sticker. It could be tickles. But you need something you can deliver quickly and a lot of out in the community while you're working on this elopement behavior. Okay, so you're gonna just make it very clear, set these expectations, make sure that they hear you by making eye contact with them. They can either nod their head yes, they can fill in the blank. So you're going to walk with, they might say safe feet or next to me. You're going to show them the reinforcer. Let's say it's bubbles. I want you to take those bubbles out and blow them so that you can make sure that they are motivated, they're interested, they want those bubbles. Be like, okay, I'm so glad you want these. Come on, we're gonna go to the store and we're gonna walk a little bit, and then you'll get the bubbles when you follow mommy's directions, daddy's directions, when you stay right next to me. Make it very clear, very repetitive about what you want them to do. Notice, we are not saying, if you're not gonna listen, you're not gonna get this. Don't say that. We already know that this is a struggle for them and they are going to be learning. We're teaching, right? They've had a history of running away in these situations. So we're starting from the bottom, but we're going to get to the top. But it's up to us. Okay? We are the behavior change agents. We are the ones who make it possible for them to learn a new skill and do things differently. But it's a matter of us setting them up for success, which means that we are set up for success. We're going to be calm, we're going to be cool, we're going to be collected, we're going to know exactly what to say, and we're also going to know what to do when they don't follow our directions, okay? So let's say your child is one that you have to hold their hand, right? Or let's say in a grocery store, they're always in a cart. If they're not in a cart and contained with a phone in their hand or some toy, then they're going to bolt, okay? So you're going to take baby steps. Ideally, you're going to have another person with you, maybe an older sibling who can like push the cart, maybe a spouse, maybe a therapist, like a registered behavior technician or a behavior analyst with you, maybe a respite care provider, somebody who is there for babysitting purposes that is being paid, okay? Maybe a neighbor whom you trust. But it is recommended if your child is a bolter and eloper that you do have two adults so that you can maintain your focus on your child and not have to worry about the cart or the time or what's going on, okay? So you're going to set yourself up for success by knowing that you have baby steps that you're going to focus on for your child. So once again, let's say that they bolt all the time. You're going to just have a 5-minute goal. All right. This does not mean that for 5 whole minutes they have to make sure that they walk next to you before they get that reinforcer. No. You're going to set your child up for success. You're going to have maybe a picture that shows walking, or you're going to have a smiley face picture, something that shows what you want them to do and that they're doing something right, okay? Another really good one is a timer as a visual support, because you want to be able to deliver that reinforcer contingent on them walking next to you, following your directions frequently. So let's say your goal is 5 minutes, and let's say they bolt the second they're out of that cart. Your goal is going to be maybe 5 seconds. You don't really necessarily need a timer for that, but you could as a visual support for your child. But for a short duration like that, I would probably say it out loud. So let's say that you are at a grocery store, you've got a cart there. They probably enjoy the cart. Maybe instead of the cart, like I know here in Florida at our Publix, we have like those cool race car carts that have the steering wheel on it. Maybe don't get one of those today, okay? Because we want your child to be more excited about walking so that they get that additional reinforcer, okay? If they're in a cool cart playing with the steering wheel, they're gonna be like, I don't really care about that right now. I don't want to move. I like this seat, okay? So set yourself up for success like that. That's one way. You're going to have the cart, okay? When I would probably say that you could do it a couple different ways. I would say walk into the store, get the cart, put them in it, then go find an aisle that's empty, okay? Maybe, what aisle is empty usually? Maybe the aisle with like stationery if you're at a grocery store. Or maybe like Walmart, somewhere in the back corner where there's not a lot of foot traffic, okay? Have your child in the cart while you get to that location. Provide them with some praise. Hey, I love how you're sitting so nice. Thank you for your quiet voice. Wow, look at all these things I see. This is such a great store. Just talk it up, right? Get them to be hearing your voice because they're going to need to hear your voice in a couple minutes when they're walking, okay? So you get to your destination. You're going to stop the cart. You're going to be calm. You're going to look them in the eyes and you're going to say, all right, it's time for us to walk. Remember, we're going to get a lollipop, a little bit of a lollipop, or we're going to get some bubbles, or look at these stickers. I can't wait for you to earn them. Remember, you're going to walk next to mommy. You're going to hold on to the cart, hold my hand, and then you'll get your reward. If you don't, we're going to try again. Okay? So short phrases, look at them in the eyes just like that. Okay? You're going to have a smile on your face. You're going to be calm. Your additional person is going to probably be pushing the cart or just, staying close by. You're going to take them out of the cart. You're going to place them right where you want them. I recommend one hand goes on the cart, and I would say, like where you hold the cart, you could have them in the back by where you're holding it too, so they can learn to hold it like that. I just wouldn't have them go like in the front because then their feet might get run over. But definitely have them hold on, okay? They could hold on to the side. And then what I'd like for you to do is be either behind their body or on the side holding their hand. And you may have your phone or a timer set to like 5 seconds, but maybe let's try, like, depending on their age, maybe a song like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or you can count. I would always count up, not down. When you count down, then when it comes time for you to have your duration grow, it's going to be confusing for your child. You're going to be like, hold on a second. Why are you starting at 10 when we were starting at 5? No, start at 1 because you could always go up, okay? So they'll be on the outside of the cart. They're holding the cart. And then you're going to prompt your second person, okay, push the cart, please. We're going to walk. And when you start walking, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thank you for walking so nicely next to me. Here is your bubbles. Here's your sticker. Here's a lick of a lollipop. Yay, good job. Let's do it again. Go right into it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yay. Here it is again. Good job. Make it a big deal. I know you're out in public. Don't worry. You're going to be happy. People are going to be happy that you're happy. Do not worry about other people. Now, let's say you got them out of the cart. Let's say they might drop to the ground or they're trying to bolt already. Okay? Hold your hand on top of their hand on the cart with one of your hands, and your body is going to be behind them, remember? And your hand can kind of go like over here. Don't squeeze, okay? Don't grab like this. Just kind of like one of these, right? You're gonna be guiding. Your body is gonna be behind them so that you can support them in doing the right thing, guiding. And 5 seconds is so short, but once again, if they're used to running, you have to start small. And maybe do this like 5 or 10 times in a row, right? And don't put them back and forth in the cart, back and forth out of the cart. No, you want to set them up for success. This reinforcer better be something that they want. If they don't, you're SOL. you're out of luck. They have to want what you are giving to them. So please do not assume that it's going to be something that they want. You really have got to establish it before even getting into that store. So in the car, probably give them choices. Okay, while we're walking, do you want to earn goldfish, or do you want to earn these shiny stickers, or look at these bubbles I have? If they're nonverbal, they can still make a selection, okay? If it's something that they get all the time, it's probably not going to be motivating enough. You typically want to choose something that's going to be specifically for earning. If it's a regular snack that they get in their lunchbox every day, it's not really going to be exciting for them. They're going to be like, why should I work for this when I just get it for free and I don't have to do anything? You know what I mean? So make sure that this reinforcer is actually reinforcing. You know, some kids are actually interested in seeing their own picture. So you could even somehow find a way to like have a phone or an iPad, something like that, video recording them as they walk. That might be something they like. You got to think outside of the box. Think of something you can deliver immediately, okay? So we talked about how you're going to walk next to them with your hand on their hand, which is on the cart, and fade it out as they naturally hold their hand there without you prompting, okay? And then counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe do it 5 or 10 times in a row. Once again, try to be in a location where there aren't other patrons around. If somebody comes, just try to get out of their way. That's a natural occurrence of when we're in a store and we're walking, we've got to navigate around different people, different places. So I wouldn't worry too much. So maybe 5 times in a row, 10 times in a row max of them showing success. They earned, all done. Put them back in the cart. That is a win for you, mom, dad, caregiver, babysitter, cousin, whatever you are, therapist to them. That is a win. Pat yourself on the back. Take some deep breaths. You did it. That's shaping. That's reinforcement. That's prompting. That's building independence. That's reinforcing. That's positive. All these ABA terms that you may not care for, but the whole point is that you are having a goal that you're working toward and your child is enjoying it. And yes, they are earning something right now, but don't worry, that will fade out in time. Right now, they need an additional something other than being told this is how you do it. They're not there yet. Baby steps, okay? So we talked about setting clear expectations. Setting clear expectations, you're going to stay close. You're going to practice a few times in a row, get them back in the cart. You could practice again. Let's say you're doing a shopping trip that lasts like 30 minutes. Maybe do like 2 trials or 2 rounds. You're going to have those reinforcers. And make sure that you deliver it at the end of every count, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And have small goals for yourself. You can do this. And then as your child is showing success and not needing your hand to be on top of theirs, not needing your body to be behind theirs because they're wiggling or squirming or trying to run, test it out. Maybe do 10 seconds. Don't go too high, but if you get to a place where it's more like a minute, I'd recommend setting a timer. You don't want to sit there counting to 60. Maybe your child is learning to count and they want to count to 60. Hey, let them do it. All right. But these are the baby steps to start. Having them increase their duration of being able to walk without running away, and more importantly, for safety, staying near you. All right, so this was a video about how to address elopement out in the community. Thank you so much for watching.